Okay, if anyone here doesn't know me, I'm Adam. I'm on the Bespoke team. This is my first lightning talk or conclave presentation in general, so wish me luck. Okay, so this is my LED info ticker. I built it with my roommate. It uses an Arduino Yun and 3 8x8 LED matrices that we got from Adafruit, which is a cool company that sells electronics, and they're like right down the street, like maybe a block away. But they only sell it online. Okay, so this presentation is about Arduino, the internet, and if there's time, this project. So in the picture on the left is an Arduino Yun, and on the right is the internet. And notice that he's actually literally surfing on a keyboard, because that's how you surf the web, obviously. Okay. And the Arduino Yun is the type of Arduino that we used for this project. Okay, so what is Arduino? Physically, it is a circuit board with a microcontroller and some like standardized in and out, and then some other things. A microcontroller is a CPU plus memory plus other things to make it do more things. Okay. Arduino is also an IDE for writing and compiling your programs, and firmware on the board to simplify the uploading process. So taking your program and actually putting it on the board and have it execute. So basically the idea is simplified hardware hacking. It's kind of like common, pretty cheap components that they put a more user-friendly wrapper around. Okay, there are many varieties of Arduinos. I don't know how long they've been around, but yeah, lots of different shapes and sizes. Both official and unofficial, and part of the reason there's so many copies is it's all open source, or at least mostly open source. So you can go to GitHub, you can see all the code for the IDE, all the code for the libraries, etc. And it's also open source hardware, so you can look at the schematics. This has kind of stopped with the Yun. It's not entirely open source. Okay, so what it means to program Arduino. You're writing wiring, which is kind of like, I think almost exactly like C++, with some simplified syntax and some built-in libraries. You are then compiling to bytecode, transferring your code to the Arduino byte by byte. And on board, there's a bootloader that is, I think this is what a bootloader does, directing the program to the flash memory, and then letting the program take over. Okay? And then once that's happened, once the program is on the Arduino, if you power the Arduino, that program will run. It's there. Okay, so a quick demo. What it means to program on the Arduino. Okay, sorry if that's too small. So this is an Arduino Uno. This is like an older one. This is basically what an Arduino program looks like. There's a setup and a loop. So here we're going to pick a pin that we're going to write to, and then in a loop, write it to high, wait for 3 seconds, about a third of a second, and then write it to low. So turn a light on and off. This is like the hello world of Arduino programming. So I'm actually going to have to unplug this. No, that's not true. Take that back. Okay, so I'm going to use this cable. Nothing's happening, but I can go to my IDE and hit upload. It's going to compile, and then send that sketch to the board, and now it's running. Okay. Okay. So what about the internet? Right, this isn't doing anything with the internet yet. It's just a blinking light. Okay, so we used an Arduino Yun for this, which is the first Arduino with onboard Wi-Fi capability. Am I at 5 yet? 5, okay. Cool. All right, so why a two-headed robot or two-headed monster? So there's the Atmega processor on the Arduino Yun, which is like the traditional kind of Arduino processing, which is like reading from pins, writing to pins. Okay, but it also has this Linux machine, which does different types of things. So it has two different brains on board, okay, that are good at different things. Okay, so to get a little bit further down this metaphor, or along this metaphor, the Linux is web connected, but it doesn't have any I/O pins, whereas the Arduino, the Atmega, does have I/O pins. So it's kind of like the Arduino side can do things outside of itself, right? It can read and make changes. All of the Linux's interfaces are tied up talking to the web or to the Atmega board. So that's why it has no ARM. That's why. Okay. And those little squiggly lines are it being telepathic. It's communicating with the outside world. Okay. A little bit more about the embedded Linux. So it's OpenWRT. I don't know a whole lot. It's on routers. But you can do a lot of cool things. Like I can get SSH into this board, play around. It comes pre-installed. It comes with Python pre-installed, so you can write Python scripts. Okay, and so you have these two minds. You need some way to communicate between them. So when you buy an Arduino Yun, it comes. It's not true. Okay, whenever you're using the Arduino IDE, you can include this bridge library that has this functionality to communicate back and forth, which allows you to do things like, in your Arduino program, make an HTTP request, or accept an HTTP request, or call shell scripts. So if you like to do Python programming, you can write a Python script, call it from in your Arduino program. Okay, so with that, I will quickly go to, don't save, no, we don't need that. The source code for what's making this happen, at least on the Arduino side. So a little bit about what's actually happening is it's not going a lot of different places to find this information that's scrolling across. We set up one endpoint that has a pre-built message. So this is really dumb. All it does is hits an endpoint, gets a message, reads it across our LED screen. So from the top down, these 2 minutes? Okay. Are libraries for communicating specifically with these LED boards. So there's a certain protocol. There's already a library built. You include them, and it does all the thinking for you. There's no math involved in figuring out how to make this message go across. Bridge is what I was talking about before, to allow the two sides of the Arduino to talk. An HTTP client is going to use Bridge to make HTTP requests. Blah, blah, blah. Here's where it's interesting, I guess. The loop. We're going to set up our HTTP client and make a request to our endpoint where we know there's going to be some kind of good information, our message that's already been built to read across. Grab that string, build our message, and then scroll it across, do it 3 times, change colors, okay? And once it's done it 3 times, it will find a new message. It will check again for a new message. Okay, and that's it. If you want to get started with Arduino, I really suggest ladyada.net. She is actually the person who founded Adafruit. She has a really great tutorial or set of tutorials for getting started. And if you want to see more about this project, you can go to my Instructables page, and this is it in my apartment, and this is some video of it doing things. You can read about in more detail how this was built. Finished.